So me and two Gentile comrades decided to hit Eastern Europe post-Berlin Wall falling, and we had connections with autonomous and anarchist people across Eastern Europe. We brought copies of our bodies ourselves for people to translate. We brought a ton of condoms. We also brought hip-hop tapes and country music tapes, things that we thought were very US to give as trade. We had some phenomenal experiences there. Being in Berlin was wonderful. To be in such a living, breathing anarchist scene, and there was poetry on the grounds and people cooking together, and people were very confused about the wall coming down. They would ask us what we thought of capitalism and if they should let Coca-Cola come in. And so after doing some really incredible anarchist political work with my friends, we went to Birkenau, and then we also went to Auschwitz. And I shut down, completely stopped talking. And we had been traveling for about 3 or 4 weeks at that point. And the next day, we were on the train, and one of my comrades said to me, "If you don't snap out of it, we're not going to be able to travel with you anymore." And there really wasn't any room for me to have the visceral reaction I had had to being at the camps. It was very confusing to have been doing such intense, wonderful work with each other for several years. We got to do all sorts of great black bloc stuff together, really fun, fucking shit up anarchist fantasy stories that we actually got to do together. And here they were saying, I will unarrest you if someone's trying to take you to the police station, but I can't be with you while you're feeling horror about what's happened to your people. When I came back, it was very hard to stay in the anarchist community. Anarchists that I had worked with and struggled with and thought about so many ideas would tell me things like, there are no poor Jews in the United States, you're not poor, what happened to you and your mother, your parents got divorced, and that's why you were poor. I'm like, okay, we were still poor. So there wasn't any analysis of Jewish identity except for, well, if you're Jewish, you have to hate Israel. And that was the only way I could talk about being Jewish. I'm Jewish and I hate Israel. So I left the anarchist scene, which was very, very sad and very painful. I had many good friends and sweeties, and I had done all sorts of really great work and had to leave that.
Sur 100 Français de vieille souche française, 90 au moins sont de vrais blancs, purs de tout autre mélange racial. Il n'en est pas de même du juif. Celui-ci est issu de métissage accompli il y a déjà plusieurs millénaires entre des Aryens, des Mongols et des Nègres. Le juif a donc un visage.
You know, Jews have white privilege. Ashkenazi Jews in this country have white privilege in lots of ways, and there's still ways that we can't pass physically, and at times it's not always okay to look Jewish in this world. And even in LA, which has such a big Jewish community, my brother's gotten targeted for looking physically Jewish, and then I did pretty intensely for about a year or so.
In preparation for a particularly large demo, like Dead Prez came out and they were playing, and like, woo, so exciting. And JICA folks got together the week before and made all of these signs to hold up. And it was the first time that we made a JICA banner. And it was really big on canvas. They painted Jewish Youth for Community Action and the logo, which is 3 people holding up the world together. And then they made a lot of signs, and some of them outing themselves as Jewish folks. So it was really deep that at the event, no one wanted to hold up the big banner. And how that happened time and time again.
Anti-Semitism has been different than other oppressions. It's a place where Jews have been allowed a certain amount of power to serve the ruling class. And that's helped the ruling class, and sometimes it's helped some of the Jews. But what happens whenever times are tough, and that's been in Europe and that's in this country today, though we're not the only scapegoats, it's easy to blame the Jews who are the visible faces of the oppressor, whether it's the landlords who are in the African American community, or teachers, or social workers, or managers. We're very convenient in that way as people to blame. So first of all, this hurts us as Jews and makes us feel afraid to speak out. But it also then takes attention away from where the real decision makers are. You know, and where are the real roots of economic injustice in this country?
People who are benefiting from the occupation are not the Jews. I mean, it's very clear to me that the occupation is not only bad for Palestinians, it's really destroying the Jewish people and is, you know, terrible for the Israeli Jews. When we look at who's benefiting from Zionism and from the occupation and from the oppression of Palestinians, it's really like the mega corporations. It's really the war industry. You know, it's all of these bigger powers, and it's very convenient for them to have Israel doing the dirty work to keep these policies going in the Middle East.